Big thanks to Lit RPG Reads and Paul Bello Finefellow. You know, when I think about D&D heists, I always go back to this one campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Where we were going to steal this magical crown from a hill giant chieftain.
Okay.
We thought we were so clever sneaking in through this back cave using invisibility potions.
Yeah.
The whole shebang, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Turns out the giant's pet dire wolf. Ridiculously keen sense of smell.
Oh, no.
Let's just say we barely escaped with our hides intact.
Yeah, those dire wolves, they'll sniff you out every time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's those unexpected moments that you talk about for years.
Yeah.
And that's what we're diving into today.
Oh,
D&D heist scenarios, what makes them so cool, how to weave them into your campaigns.
I love it.
And why they can be some of the most exciting and rewarding sessions you'll ever experience.
You know, it's fascinating how D&D heists really flip the script on those traditional dungeon crawls. Instead of just charging in, sword swinging, you're encouraging players to think strategically, prioritize stealth and cunning over brute force.
Right.
It's all about that planning, preparation, and a healthy dose of creative problem solving.
So how would you explain the core differences between a typical dungeon crawl and a well-crafted heist scenario?
Well, in a dungeon crawl, the challenge is often overcoming combat encounters, navigating those hazards.
Right.
The goal is usually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Defeat the boss, grab the treasure, get out alive.
Makes sense.
Heists, though, they introduce like a whole other layer of complexity. The objectives are often more nuanced, They really make you think about timing, security systems, social dynamics, all that.
So it's less about like hacking and slashing your way through.
Yeah.
And more about like outsmarting your opponents.
Exactly. It's like a game of chess where every move has consequences.
Oh, I like that.
And those consequences can be much higher in a heist, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, failure might not just mean losing a few experience points. It could damage your reputation, alienate powerful allies, or even have ripple effects that impact the entire campaign world.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the stakes are high.
So if we're thinking about crafting a compelling heist scenario, where do we even begin?
I always suggest starting with the classics, Heist Tropes.
Okay.
They provide this great framework for building tension, intrigue, memorable moments.
Makes sense.
Like, take the Inside Man trope, for example.
Yeah, the classics.
Yeah. In a D&D setting, this could be like a disgruntled guard.
Right.
A mischievous fey creature.
Ooh.
Or even a cursed object bound to serve whoever possesses it.
A cursed object with inside information. That's a cool twist.
Huh?
What other tropes lend themselves well to D&D heists?
The Impossible Vault is always a favorite.
Okay.
Picture a dwarven treasury sealed with ancient runes,
Yeah.
Or a wizard's sanctum protected by layers of illusions and reality-bending magic.
Whoa.
The key here is to make it seem genuinely impenetrable. Then let your players' creativity shine as they devise a plan to breach those seemingly insurmountable defenses.
I love that. Like, give them that impossible situation and see what they come up with.
Exactly.
And of course, no heist would be complete without a double cross, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe the person who hired the party has ulterior motives.
Oh, yeah?
Or a rival adventuring group shows up just to make things interesting.
Totally. That element of uncertainty, the shifting alliances, the hidden agendas, it keeps the players on their toes.
Keeps them guessing.
And ensures that even the best-laid plans can go delightfully awry.
Which, let's be honest, is half the fun of tabletop RPGs.
Absolutely. Embracing those unpredictable moments.
But even with the best tropes and twists, a heist relies on a skilled crew to pull it off.
Right.
What kind of roles do we need to consider when building a D&D heist team?
Every successful heist needs a mastermind.
Okay, the brains of the operation.
Exactly. The strategist, the planner, the one who sees the big picture. This is where wizards with their tactical spells or a cunning rogue with their mastery of infiltration can really shine.
Makes sense.
Even a clever bard with their ability to manipulate social situations, they can be the mastermind.
So it's not just about raw power then?
No, not at all.
It's about intelligence and the ability to, anticipate problems before they arise.
Exactly. Thinking ahead.
Who else is essential to a heist crew?
You'll need some muscle, of course.
Okay, the brawn.
Yeah, to handle those moments when things get loud and messy.
Right, the inevitable.
Inevitable, yeah. Fighters, barbarians, or even paladins with a knack for subterfuge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they can provide that crucial combat support.
But I imagine even the muscle needs to be smart.
Oh, absolutely.
A raging barbarian might be great in the dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
But in a heist, subtlety and restraint are often more valuable than brute force.
You don't want to alert the entire city guard because your barbarian decided to smash down the vault door.
Right. You need someone who can slip in and out unnoticed.
Exactly. You also need an infiltrator, you know?
Okay, the stealth expert.
Yeah, the expert at bypassing physical security.
Okay.
This is where rogues, agile monks, or rangers who can blend seamlessly into the environment, they really come into their own.
Right.
Think lock-picking, trap disarming, moving silently through the shadows.
Very cool.
They're the ones who make those impossible missions seem almost effortless.
Yeah, the ones who make it look easy.
Exactly.
But what about the social side of things? We need someone who can smooth talk their way past guards or gather intel.
Oh, for sure. The face.
Okay, the charmer.
Yeah, the charmer, the negotiator, the master of disguise and persuasion. Bards are often a natural fit for this role.
Right.
But any character with a high charisma score and a knack for deception can excel.
I can see that.
They're the ones who create distractions, plant subtle suggestions, or even convince a guard to hand over the keys to the kingdom without realizing they've been played.
Wow, that's a valuable asset. But we're dealing with a D&D world here, right? Where magic and fantastical technology are commonplace.
Right.
Is there a role for someone with a more technical skill set?
Absolutely. The technician, they're crucial for overcoming magical traps, deciphering arcane symbols, even rewiring security systems to work in their favor.
Oh, wow.
Artificers with their ingenious gadgets are often a natural fit.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it could also be a wizard specializing in counter magic, or a particularly resourceful rogue with a knack for tinkering.
So a well-rounded heist team needs a diverse set of skills.
Absolutely.
It's not about individual heroes, but a group of individuals working together,
I like that.
each playing their part to achieve a common goal.
That's precisely what makes D&D Heists so engaging. It's a collaborative effort that encourages players to think outside their characters' typical roles.
Right.
And embrace the power of teamwork.
It's a team effort.
Absolutely.
So we've got our crew assembled, identified some classic heist tropes.
Yeah.
What's next? Where does the real planning begin?
Well, every successful heist starts with research and information gathering.
Okay.
You can't just wander into a heavily guarded fortress or a wizard's tower and expect to win it.
Right, you need a plan.
Your players need to know the layout of the target location, the security measures, the patrol routes, even the personalities and weaknesses of the people they'll be dealing with.
That's where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
D&D settings offer so many creative ways to gather information.
Right.
They could bribe informants at the local tavern, study architectural plans stolen from the city archives, or even consult with a divination expert to glean insights.
I like it.
From the stars or the swirling mists of fate.
Very cool.
And let's not forget about magic.
Oh, right.
Imagine using clairvoyance to scout the target location or detect magic to pinpoint the wards and traps that lie in wait.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or maybe they seek out a mystical artifact rumored to grant glimpses into the past, allowing them to witness a previous heist attempt.
Oh.
Learn from its successes and failures.
That's clever.
Okay, I'm hooked. But even with all that intel, wouldn't a heavily guarded location recognize the players on site? They'd need a way to blend in.
Oh, for sure.
To move freely without raising suspicion.
Disguises are absolutely essential.
The classic disguise.
But we're not just talking about putting on a wig and a fake mustache here.
Right.
Creating convincing identities requires careful thought and attention to detail.
It's got to be believable.
Exactly.
It's about crafting believable backstories, adopting appropriate mannerisms, and maybe even forging documents or acquiring magical items that alter their appearance or aura.
That's where those character background features and skills really come into play. A character with a criminal background might have contacts in the city's underbelly who can provide them with fake identities. While a character proficient in deception can weave elaborate lies that even the most perceptive guard would have trouble seeing through.
Right. It's all about using what your character is good at.
Exactly. Playing to their strengths.
So we've covered research, intel gathering, and disguises. What else is essential to the planning phase of a truly epic D&D Heist.
Escape plans.
Oh, right. Of course, you can't forget about the getaway.
Exactly. No matter how meticulously they plan, things can always go wrong.
Right.
And when they do, your players need a way to get out quickly and cleanly.
Multiple exit strategies are key, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They might establish prearranged teleportation circles, secure a getaway carriage with a skilled driver, or even map out a network of secret tunnels beneath the city.
The more options they have, the better.
Right.
They might also consider contingencies for disabling magical pursuit, creating diversions, or even blending back into the crowd if their disguises hold up.
So many possibilities.
So many ways to get creative.
Speaking of things going wrong, let's talk about the obstacles and challenges that make D&D heists so exciting.
All right. Let's get into it.
What are some ways to really push the player's creativity and problem-solving skills?
Think beyond standard traps and locks.
Okay.
Imagine glyphs of warding that trigger devastating spells.
Ooh.
Animated objects that spring to life as guardians.
That's cool.
Or even reality-warping security zones that mess with the player's perceptions of time and space.
Whoa.
These are the kinds of challenges that require more than just brute force to overcome.
I like that.
Yeah, make them think.
So it's about creating obstacles that force them to think outside the box.
Exactly.
To use their skills and resources in unexpected ways.
That's the fun part.
What are the guards and other NPCs they might encounter? How can we make them more interesting than just, like, mindless brutes?
Give your guards personalities, motivations, a bit of intelligence.
Okay.
Maybe they have strict patrol routes that your players need to exploit. Or they're trained in a particular fighting style that presents unique challenges.
Right.
Or perhaps they even have access to magic themselves.
Adding that layer of complexity to the NPCs really elevates the challenge.
It's no longer about just defeating enemies.
Right.
It's about understanding their behavior, predicting their actions,
Okay.
and maybe even exploiting their weaknesses or biases.
You got to outsmart them.
You got to be clever.
And let's not forget about time pressure.
Right. Always adds a bit of excitement.
But instead of arbitrary timers, tie it to events within the game world.
I like that. Make it feel real.
Yeah.
Like it's actually happening.
Maybe the guard's change shifts at a certain time, or a magical effect protecting the target only lasts for a limited duration.
Right.
Or perhaps there's a festival happening in the city that creates a window of chaos the players can exploit,
Oh, that's a good one.
making that time pressure feel organic and consequential
Yeah.
rather than just a random countdown. Really amps up the tension and forces the players to make difficult decisions under pressure.
It's all about creating a believable and immersive experience that keeps them engaged and invested in the outcome.
Absolutely.
We've laid a great foundation here, exploring the elements that define a D&D heist, the importance of planning and preparation,
Wow.
the types of obstacles that can truly test a party's skills.
Sounds good.
Are you ready to move on to some specific heist scenario ideas to spark the imagination?
I'm ready. Let's hear what you've got.
All right, let's dive into some scenarios that'll really get those creative gears turning. First up, the Arcane Vault of Eldenmore.
Eldenmore. Sounds like a place where magic is just, like, oozing out of the walls.
Exactly. Imagine a prestigious magical academy, Eldenmore, where the realm's most gifted sorcerers and wizards, they all go there to hone their craft.
Okay, like the Hogwarts of high magic.
Exactly. And right at the heart of this academy, there's this vault, unlike any other.
What's so special about it?
It houses artifacts of immense power, objects capable of shaping reality itself.
Whoa, that's serious stuff.
But the real catch, this vault, it exists partially in an extra-dimensional space, like a pocket dimension woven into reality itself.
Okay, hold on. Extra-dimensional space. We're not talking about your average lock and key here.
Nope, not at all.
That sounds like a security system on another level.
Exactly. Think about it. Temporal anomalies, pockets where time flows differently, maybe even in reverse.
Oh, wow.
Areas where gravity might function in unexpected ways.
Okay.
Or even where the laws of physics are a bit flexible.
So not only do you have to worry about traps and guards,
Right?
but you might also have to navigate, like, a reality that bends and twists in ways you can't even imagine.
Exactly. That's part of the fun.
My head's already spinning.
Picture a room where gravity's inverted, or a hallway that constantly shifts and rearranges itself.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get it.
Maybe even encounters with echoes of the past, ghostly replays of previous heist attempts, both successes and failures.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, adds a bit of spookiness to it.
Definitely. And I can only imagine the defenses themselves are equally mind-boggling.
Oh, absolutely.
What kind of magical security are we talking about here?
Let your imagination run wild. Runes that trigger targeted illusions designed to misdirect and disorient.
Uh-huh.
Sentient constructs imbued with magic, tasked with patrolling the corridors.
Whoa.
And perhaps the most daunting of all, fields of anti-magic capable of rendering a spellcaster completely powerless.
So you're saying a wizard could walk in there and suddenly be, like, just a normal person?
Yeah, stripped of their magical abilities.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
You'd need a team who's not just skilled, but incredibly adaptable, ready to think on their feet as reality shifts around them.
Exactly. It's a scenario that really rewards creative thinking and problem solving.
Sure.
And the stakes while you're dealing with artifacts of immense power.
Right.
The consequences of those falling into the wrong hands could be catastrophic.
That's one epic vault. All right, what else have you got? I'm ready for something a little different.
Let's journey to a realm of mountains, forges, and magnificent beards. Prepare yourself for the Dwarven Crown Jewels Heist.
Ah, classic fantasy. I'm already picturing a fortress carved into the heart of a mountain, filled with treasures guarded by, like, stoic dwarven warriors with axes.
Exactly. Imagine Carrick-Dûr, a stronghold nestled deep within the mountains, you know? A testament to dwarven craftsmanship and resilience.
Okay, I can picture it.
It's here they safeguard their most prized possessions, the crown jewels of the 7 dwarf kings.
Ooh, crown jewels. That sounds fancy.
Oh, yeah. Artifacts passed down through generations, steeped in history, imbued with the very essence of their people.
So we're not talking about just pretty gems here.
No, these are symbols of dwarven heritage, their power, their authority.
I bet they're guarded with a ferocity that's, like, legendary even among dwarves.
You bet. But it's not just about hordes of warriors.
Okay.
Dwarves, as you know, are master craftsmen, engineers, architects.
They build things to last.
Exactly. Their security isn't just about brute strength. It's woven into the very structure of their fortress.
So the fortress itself is a trap.
In a way, yeah.
What kind of dwarven engineering marvels are we talking about?
Picture corridors that shift and realign, sealing off intruders with impeccable timing.
Okay, like moving walls.
Exactly. Pressure plates that trigger not just traps, but entire sections of the fortress to collapse or flood.
Whoa.
Runic seals, ancient and powerful, responding only to the blood of the dwarven royal line.
So it's not about fighting your way through.
Right.
It's about understanding the fortress itself.
Yeah.
Finding those hidden mechanisms, maybe even using their own ingenuity against them.
Precisely. It's a puzzle box on a grand scale,
Ooh, I like that.
where the solution lies in deciphering the dwarves' intricate designs, outsmarting their security measures.
And of course, we can't forget about the classic dwarven guards.
Oh, right.
Armed to the teeth, ready to defend their treasure.
And let's not forget the stone guardians, animated statues imbued with the spirits of dwarven heroes. Oh, that's cool. Eternally vigilant, bound to protect those treasures within.
Between extra-dimensional shenanigans and a fortress that's practically a living puzzle, I'm starting to think heisting in a fantasy world is no easy feat.
It's a challenge, for sure.
But that's what makes it fun, right?
Absolutely. Keeps you on your toes.
What other challenges await in this world of adventure?
Let's shift gears once more into something a bit more esoteric, a place where knowledge itself is the ultimate treasure.
Okay, intrigue.
Get ready for the secret library of the Silver Phoenix.
Ooh, secret library. There's always something so mysterious and alluring about those.
Right. All that hidden knowledge, the forbidden texts.
What's the story with this one?
Imagine this. A forgotten temple, seemingly lost to time and decay.
Okay.
To the average person, it's nothing but crumbling ruins.
Right.
But to those who know its secrets, it holds a gateway to a realm of forbidden knowledge, a library where magical texts and artifacts have been collected and preserved for millennia.
So this heist isn't about stealing gold or jewels. It's about acquiring knowledge, maybe even unlocking ancient secrets.
Exactly.
But what makes this library so secret? Is it, like, warded against divination magic, tucked away in some hidden pocket dimension?
It's more subtle than that.
Okay.
The library exists simultaneously in multiple planes of existence.
What?
Think of it like layers of reality, overlapping but not quite touching.
So, like, you could be standing in the ruins of the temple, but the real library is somewhere else entirely.
You might be standing in the physical ruins of the temple, but the true library, the heart of its knowledge, exists just slightly out of phase with the material world.
Okay, so how do you even find the entrance, let alone navigate a place like that?
It requires a combination of knowledge, ritual, maybe even a certain attunement to a specific magical frequency.
Sounds complicated.
It is. Maybe there's a hidden key, an artifact that resonates with the library's energy signature, or a specific sequence of rituals that must be performed.
Like a magical key?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I bet once you're inside, the real danger isn't traps or guards, but the knowledge itself.
You're catching on. The most valuable texts in this library are protected not by physical barriers, but by the enchantments woven into the words on the pages.
Whoa, enchanted books, that's a cool idea.
Imagine opening a book and being bombarded with mind-altering illusions.
For like a curse, right?
Or unleashing a bound demon that was imprisoned within the text itself.
Oh man, that's creepy. So this heist becomes less about brute force and stealth and more about mental fortitude.
Exactly.
About deciphering ancient languages, understanding arcane symbols, maybe even resisting those tempting whispers of forbidden knowledge.
It's a battle of wits and willpower, a test of the mind and spirit as much as anything else.
And what happens if you fail?
The consequences of failure. Well, you might not just lose your life, you might lose your sanity, your very sense of self.
Oh, wow.
Becoming a puppet for some otherworldly entity.
Okay, that's definitely high stakes.
These scenario ideas are incredible.
Yeah, they are.
I'm already starting to think about how I could incorporate them into my own campaigns.
You too.
But crafting a compelling location is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
How do we actually bring these D&D heists to life at the table?
That's a great question. Let's talk about that. All right, so we've talked about some really incredible heist locations.
Yeah.
Each with their own unique challenges and flavor.
For sure.
But now, how do we bring those scenarios to life at the gaming table?
It's all about the execution, right?
What are some key things to keep in mind when actually running a D&D heist adventure?
Well, one of the most crucial aspects is balance. You know?
Okay, balance.
You want to create a scenario that's challenging,
Right.
makes your players sweat a little,
Yeah.
but you don't want it to feel impossible.
Right, you want them to feel like they can actually pull it off.
A good heist should feel like it can be done, but only with, careful planning, creative thinking, and maybe a dash of luck.
It's about finding that sweet spot where the players feel like brilliant masterminds
Yeah.
when they finally crack the code,
Uh-huh.
overcome that seemingly impossible obstacle or outsmart a particularly cunning guard.
Exactly. Those are the moments that make it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
And striking that balance, it starts with knowing your players.
Right, of course.
What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses?
Mhm.
What kind of challenges do they enjoy?
Do they like to plan everything out meticulously?
Do they revel in the planning stage?
Right.
Or do they thrive on improvisation and split-second decisions?
Right, because you have players who love to strategize every detail,
Yeah,
and then you have players who just want to dive in head first and figure things out as they go.
absolutely. And you, as the DM, you've got to cater to those different approaches.
It's like being a conductor,
Oh,
orchestrating all these different elements
yeah.
to create a symphony of tension, excitement, and ultimately triumph.
I love that analogy. And don't forget about those helpful NPCs.
Oh, right, the ally.
Yeah, maybe there's a disgruntled employee who's willing to leak information, or a street urchin with an uncanny knowledge of the city's secret passages.
Those are always fun.
They can provide crucial assistance without undermining the challenge.
And what about giving the players opportunities to, acquire special equipment or resources that might give them an edge?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe they stumble upon a magical item that allows them to see through illusions,
Mm-hmm.
or they uncover an old dwarven schematic that details the fortress's security systems.
Those kinds of discoveries can really empower the players,
Yeah.
make them feel like they're actively shaping the course of the heist.
But perhaps the most important tip for running a heist, the one that truly unlocks its full potential, is embracing creativity.
Absolutely.
Encourage your players to think outside the box,
Yeah.
to come up with those what-if scenarios that you might not have even considered.
It's all about fostering an environment where those crazy off-the-wall plans are not only allowed, but celebrated.
Right, because sometimes those seemingly ridiculous schemes are the ones that end up working.
They totally are. And as the DM, your job is to facilitate that creativity. To say yes and, whenever possible,
All right.
to build upon their ideas,
Uh-huh.
weave their choices into the narrative, and just let them surprise you with their ingenuity.
Because ultimately, D&D is a collaborative storytelling experience.
It is.
It's about working together to create something unexpected, something thrilling, something that none of you could have imagined on your own.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But even with the best laid plans,
Yeah.
sometimes things go wrong.
Oh, they do.
And that's okay.
It's part of the fun.
Failure is part of the story.
Absolutely.
It can actually create some of the most tense and exciting moments in a heist.
Totally agree.
It's about how you, as the DM, handle those failures that really matters.
Right.
Like if they trigger an alarm, maybe it doesn't immediately mean the whole guard force descends upon them.
Yeah.
Maybe it just means they have to think fast, adapt, improvise,
Yeah.
and find a new way out.
Exactly. Maybe they create a diversion, slip into the shadows, wait for things to cool down, or even try to negotiate with their pursuers.
Right, like talking their way out of it.
Failure doesn't have to be the end.
Yeah.
It can be the catalyst for a whole new chapter in the adventure.
And those consequences, they can extend beyond just combat encounters or lost treasure.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe a failed heist damages their reputation in the city, makes it harder to find allies or complete future quests.
Right.
Or perhaps it attracts the attention of a powerful enemy who now sees them as a threat.
Those long-term consequences can add so much depth and complexity to the campaign. Give your players something to grapple with long after the heist is over.
It's all about the ripple effect.
Exactly.
So for those listening, what's the key takeaway here?
I think the key takeaway is that D&D heist scenarios offer this unique blend of challenge and creative freedom.
They're a chance to step outside the familiar framework of dungeon crawls.
Yeah.
Explore a different kind of adventure, one that rewards cunning, strategy, and a healthy dose of imagination.
And as we've seen, the possibilities are endless.
Right, you can draw inspiration from classic heist tropes, or push the boundaries of reality with extra-dimensional vaults, libraries that exist between the planes.
It's really up to you.
So the next time you're looking for a way to shake things up in your D&D campaign, consider planning a heist.
It might just be the most fun and memorable session you ever run or play in.
Couldn't agree more.
I want to leave you with this thought. If you were going to design a D&D heist, what kind of unique challenge would you create? What seemingly impenetrable vault would you build? What forbidden knowledge would you protect with all your might?
Let those ideas simmer.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you'll be sharing your own epic heist scenario with the world someday.
That's what I love to see.
And a final thanks to Lit RPG Reads, and of course to Paul Bello, fine fellow indeed.